Hey, welcome everyone to the I guess the 86th BitShares Hangout on the 29th of September 2018. For those you don't know listening in, the BitShares Hangouts are like an open forum where people can register their intent to discuss a topic. You have 15 minutes-ish time to talk about whatever you want related to BitShares. And so we've got a few topics today. So we'll start with the BitShares stake in the network. We'll go on to power picks, talking about whale shares, share drop, then the smoke mainnet ICO claim, and then we'll talk a bit about Bitfest. And I don't think it'll take us more than like half an hour to discuss these things. So we'll have like an open floor at the end, for like an informal kind of like discussion of what we've talked about in that. So is the BitShares user for the BitShares state of the network here, or do you want me to discuss it?
Normally you can just kind of read through it. Jim normally doesn't speak.
All right, no worries. So the BitShares state of the network this week, the Bitfest Amsterdam event was a huge success. There was heaps of exciting news and memories, starting to be released on the social media channels. So, check out Twitter, BitsharesTalk, and Steemit, all these places where people are posting their talks, their video recordings. It was really fun. I really enjoyed myself. So the next one is Bodan5 has streamed some of his talks from the BitShares Amsterdam conference, and they're available for viewing. So check out the BitShares State of the Network report links there for that content. Stan Larimer shared his vision of a new middle chain, which will be part of a smart contract platform which will sit between EOS and BitShares and may or may not feature jurisdictional agility. So that's going to be an upcoming couple articles, so kind of science fiction based, articles. So that'll be interesting to read between the lines there. Be quite cool. At least that was, what the video contents were. Next, we've got a new release candidate for the BitShares UI version 20180926 RC1. So the first release candidate has been released into the staging environment. So the final release for that is going to be the 12th of September. So that's already out. It's always worth trying out some of these release candidates. Obviously not if you're worried about bugs and stuff like that, but it's where you can see what's the absolute cutting edge latest developments. And if you help solve issues or find bugs before it gets to production, that's great. That's going to stop bugs getting found by regular users. It really helps. So yeah, check them out in the staging environment, and that's staging.bitshares.org. So that's where you can see basically the nightly changes effectively as they're being developed. Next, we got Blocktivity has released the latest composition of the Bit20 and Twentix cryptocurrency index funds. So he regularly, updates these, and you can buy these Bit20 and Twentix market pegged assets on the BitShares DEX against any trading pair. They're pretty innovative products. Definitely check them out. Next, we've got Michael Mathias unveiled the new Dascoin ATM, which also supports BitShares at the BitShares Amsterdam event. Dascoin had several, talks at the BitShares Amsterdam event, and they actually, Dascoin sponsored, was one of the main sponsors of the BitShares, event. It was quite cool what he was talking about. Some of the developments they've done, but I hadn't heard of Dascoin that much until then. So the guy seemed pretty decent in person as well, so that's pretty decent. Next, we've got Perpex. Do you want to talk about the whale shares share drop claim period?
Yeah, absolutely. Just so everyone's aware, whale shares has jumped into our second share drop claim period. This is a follow-up to our first claim period that we had. It's not a new share drop. I know a couple of people have actually DM'd me and some of us over in whale shares asking about claiming again, but it's not a secondary claim. It's just a different period to actually claim if you missed it. And the way this one's work, we do have information up on on the website. Fuzz actually just dropped the link there. And this tells you basically what it's about. There is, each time we do these next phases of claiming, there's kind of a reduction. So this time there's a 5% reduction in what your claim is. If you were going to have a 100 whale share claim, it's now down to 95. And as we go through these different periods, we're really trying to maximize the distribution of the token, so the network is, more uniformly distributed, creating a more fair platform. But this is just for anyone who has a BitShares account that had either at least 1.25 BitShare, or one whale share, or one Brownie PTS in your wallet as of August 1st, when the snapshot was taken. You will have a claim. And if you go to https://wls.services. The forum has actually been updated now to allow you to put in your BitShares address first, and then allow you to check to see if you have the claim before you go through the process. In our first claim period, you kind of went through the process, and if you had to know yourself if you were included or not. So we had a couple people that were sending stuff in, weren't in the claim, or sending the wrong amount, things like that. So we've kind of streamlined that process now. You put in your BitShares account, check it. It will tell you yes or no if you're included in the claim. If you are, continue on with the claim process. Either claim it to your WhaleShares account that you already have, or create a new one, save your keys, and get on from there. Now, going along with this, I'm just going to pull some information on the stream so we see it as well. We had a refund period that went behind this as well. Once we finished the first claim period, we did refunds, and the refunds were for any errant claims. Anyone that had accidentally sent like an incorrect memo, they didn't copy and paste it correctly, or they sent the wrong claim fee, because remember we had the whale share fee was different through that period as we got down to just one. And anyone who attempted to claim with a BitShares account that was not in the claim will also be refunded. So all those refunds went out. It was 345 accounts that got refunded. Just over 1,200 BitShares were refunded, and over 6,200 whale share were returned to the respective owners. So, we're not going to keep anything. If there's any kind of errors in the claim process, that all gets refunded at the end of the period. This second claim period will go through October 25th at 23:59:59 UTC. So just before midnight, that's when the second claim period will end. So if you haven't done so already, jump in, grab your claim. Post them on the different forums. I've been trying to get them over there on Telegram and stuff as well, just to get the word out there. And I do have a new graphic that everyone is welcome to share. That's the one that I just showed in the stream there, but I'll drop it in the chat as well, so you have it. Throw it across social media, get the word out. And that's my update for whale shares.
Cool, that's great. Do you mind me asking, so the deadline is October 25th, 2018. So what happens afterwards? Is there going to be a further reduction, or will it just cut off?
Honestly, the team itself is still, we'll discuss as we get closer to that. What we're really trying to do is just, we want the whole share drop to be claimed, in all honesty. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that we do them in these kind of segments, like 30-day periods, which gives us a time to either modify the claim process, give out refunds that need to be done at the end of each period, and things like that. So as we get closer to the end of it, then we'll see how well the claim period is moving along. I think we're past 30% now, or a little bit higher now. It was at 30% at the end of the last claim period. So we'll kind of jump through this and then make the decisions as we get to the end. But I think we'll extend it again, but we'll have a pause in between to go through any kind of refund process or changes that we might need to do.
Cool. That's great. It's great to see, the share drop claim process improving each iteration. It's really groundbreaking stuff. And it's great to see that, the support for the customers is there, that I don't know if you can call them customers because it's a share drop, but that, there is the refund process that isn't being just kept. That's great to see. Cheers for that,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was the whole point. I mean, Fuzzy's vision of doing this as a 100% share drop and not an ICO. It's about making sure we give this platform out to the community. People moving over from Steemit, but out to the BitShares community. And anyone who is holding. We didn't want to do it as an ICO, and I think it's working out great this way.
Totally agree. The 100% share drop was, really innovative. I really like it. So next we've got, on a related note, is the Smoke network for cannabis-related content. It's a fork of Steemit. Its mainnet launched about a week ago or so, and the pre-ICO was held on the BitShares DEX. So, in a similar share drop claim process, you can claim your pre-ICO funds from the BitShares DEX onto the Smoke mainnet. So I'll just, discuss some of the share drop process just on the behalf of the Smoke network to a certain degree. So, thus far, the pre-sale tokens, about 7 million of 13.5 million have been claimed. So still about 50% need to be claimed by BitShares DEX users. So don't forget, fair enough if you want to still trade it up until the deadline, whenever that is, that's fair. But I'll just go through the instructions of how to claim your drop claim. So if you're a pre-sale claim user, if you hold the Smoke UIA on the BitShares DEX, you have to create an account first. Then once you have created your account and you are able to log in, go to the claim tool and follow the instructions. So it's just https claim.smoke.io. You can find that URL as well on the Smoke main website if you don't trust my URL there. For the main ICO claimants, which was, the ICO dashboard Smoke holders, not specifically the BitShares DEX pre-ICO participants. Again, create an account first thing. You don't create an account through the claim process. You need the account in the first place. Go to the claim tool and follow the instructions. Actually, sorry, I reread the pre-sale claim set. Sign into the Smoke ICO dashboard, which is ico.smoke.network/user. Go to my profile, then my wallet. You then, on that page, enter your Smoke username and click save. Your coins will automatically be sent after the claim date. And for the airdrop participants, for people that don't know, the Smoke network actually performed this huge airdrop process. It's, through like all the social media platforms. If you tweeted, you got like an extra coin, or if you made a blog post, it was quite cool, rather than just solely, share dropping on coins, it was airdropping on social media participation. So yeah, once the pre-sale and ICO users have claimed their full stake, or when December the 1st comes by, so either or, whichever comes sooner, the airdrop shall start taking place. So keep an eye on your email for more information on the coming weeks if you are an airdrop participant. So that's everything about the Smoke share drop claim, ICO claim and airdrop claim as well. Does anyone have any questions about the Whale Shares share drop, the Smoke mainnet claim, or any of the the BitShares State of the Network report, or should we move on to like the contents of the BitFest Amsterdam event?
Do BitShare users get a share drop for Smoke?
No, I don't believe there was a snapshot or a share drop performed on an external cryptocurrency. It was purely a pre-ICO held on the BitShares DEX, an ICO which was external to BitShares, and an airdrop which was like social media participation.
Gotcha. I did the social media portion, so it was good to hear that update because I was wondering where that airdrop happens or how it happens. So I guess just wait for an email.
Yeah, pretty much. I think the 1st of December will probably roll around sooner than the 100% ICO plus pre-ICO claims have gone through, because users forget about their tokens and stuff. So I think just wait for the email in December, the first week. We could also shout out some of the blocktivity data. If you don't know, blocktivity.info is a new website that has been trying to push the metric of blockchain activity as the most important metric above, market cap, which most cryptocurrency websites do. So BitShares this week is again in first place with 1.5 or almost 1.6 million operations. in the last 24 hours. With a record of just over 6 million transactions in a 24-hour period. So in first place is BitShares, second place Steam with about 1 million transactions, third place EOS with about 1 million, and fourth place is Bitcoin, with about 600,000 operations. So it's great to see that, week after week, BitShares is in #1 position, even ahead of Steam with their free operations, and EOS with their free operations. What do you guys think about Blocktivity? Do you regularly use it? Do you think it's something that will be able to get in front of people's faces more than just the market cap metric that many people have learned to?
Honestly, I'm hoping it actually does become more mainstream, because I know Fuzz and I use it a lot on EOS talks and stuff, and even here in the BitShares stuff, we try to really hammer it home that these are the metrics that are more important than market cap when it comes to the ability of these chains to I mean, they're functional, where Bitcoin and say Litecoin and some others are more of a currency. These other chains have to do operations, and really you're doing transactions using a network for whatever the purposes are. There are different platforms built on them. So these are the metrics that are a lot more important than a market cap when it comes to those kind of networks.
Yeah, totally. I think what's craziest is, you often find that a cryptocurrency with a really high market cap, like we're talking billions or hundreds of millions, and like a dedicated, serious marketing effort, comes across as something that's really highly used. And then when you go to like Blocktivity and check out how many transactions a day there are, it's like they're not even getting past like 100,000 a day. It's like, whoa, it's really it's quite shocking, that a lot of the privacy coins as well are highly unused. And one of the requirements for being added to Blocktivity.info is that you have more transactions a day than the last entry. And it's funny enough that some, it's like, oh, they might not actually have that.
And it's also interesting to watch over in the CUI index too, just to kind of watch the activity level of the network itself and its capacity. You're seeing Bitcoin and Ethereum always almost maxed out, and it's crazy.
Yeah, totally. Despite the massive market cap they have, But I'm not sure if if Bitcoin could sustain a large transaction record amount again, like we saw like back in November last year when fees were like at $90, which was crazy. It's whether or not people will wake up to the fact that, hey, my chain isn't actually that functional. Maybe I should switch to one of these that has, on a daily occasion, like 3 or 4 times my crypto's participation activity rate.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because it's sitting at 605,000 now. Its record was 670, and it's at almost 88% network capacity. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, where can Ethereum go from here? They're going to have to take a page from the graphene crypto family, aren't they? So I guess we could also talk a little bit about the BitFest Amsterdam event, just summarize some of the things that went on. So there were a few panel discussions, which I thought were most related to, BitShares. There was the BitShares Gateway Providers, which was moderated, I think, by Bill Butler. That was quite cool. There was Peter from Rudex, Yuri from OpenLedger, Jerry, from BitCrab, who's GDEX, Ohan from Spark, and Andrew from Everbloom. That was quite interesting. Fair enough, the audience didn't have much of a input. They couldn't throw questions in, but it was quite good to listen in. Everbloom isn't a BitShares DEX. I think it's an Ethereum decentralized exchange, but nonetheless, they had some good input. The other panel discussion was from Graphene to BitShares and Beyond, moderated by Ryan R. Fox. That was with Alfredo Garcia from the core team, John from the core team, Dan Notestein from blocktrades.us, Fabian Shu from Blockchain Projects BV, and Branislav from Dascoin. That was quite interesting again. I think one of the audience members did have a back and forth, which was quite entertaining. But what did were any people listening in right now for in attendance there? It was quite exciting to meet people from at the BitFest event. It was quite nerve-wracking, like putting name to faces, like who is everyone, No worries. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to.
I would tell you, but I wasn't there. But I was there in heart and spirit. So I'll tell you what I'm doing was what I always do, which is try to make connections with BitShares. Now I'm going to shut up and let you guys continue.
I tell you, I met a few people that know you by person and stuff. That was quite cool. I didn't get to do some of the events because I booked the tickets too late, but I got to explore Amsterdam in my spare time. And it was raining nonstop all 3 days, so I think there was quite a call for like the next BitFest event to be held in like a warmer environment where it won't rain. Cool. Yeah, I mean, the event was great. We met up like the first day, had some drinks and stuff. Then the full event happened the second day. It was quite professional. Probably about 100, 150 people in attendance. It was great to talk to a bunch of the people that are behind all these companies in person. I'm looking forward to the next event, whenever that is next year and wherever it is, hopefully, again, yeah, in a warmer climate. Yeah. So now we've kind of got past all of the topics that were kind of included in the RSVPs. Does anyone want to raise a topic informally, for us to discuss, like any BSIPs of interest or any crazy idea?
Okay.
For myself, just to kind of give a quick shout out though to the Rudex team. They have been really great as far as you're getting gateways together and stuff. I know they have our gateway ready for whale shares, and working. I mean, all the new chains that come out, they're very quick to do it, and just to build that support over to the DEX. So they definitely need a big shout out for what they do over at Rudex.
Yeah, I totally have to agree with you there. They added a gateway for Gridcoin, despite Gridcoin being a really small market cap crypto. That's majorly appreciated. I expressed that in person to Peter, and it was great to like talk to him about it and hear from him saying that he's had quite a lot of Russian community members asking or requesting for Gridcoin to be added. So yeah, it's great. I agree. I think he's also adding the Smoke Network. They're quite high up, voted in witnesses. So pretty much every graphene chain they're on.
Yeah, correct. I mean, Blockchain mentioned he was going to do an announcement soon for Smoke.
Cool.
Can you see this?
Yeah, Ken Code's shouting out in the chat that PalmPay version 1.3 is finally done. There's an epic release which includes massive updates to the core, everything from street value currency APIs and redundancy features to network efficiencies and additional input coins, which is great. For people that don't know, PalmPay is kind of like a point of sale, device or software for being able to buy goods in person with cryptocurrency. It's pretty cool. I really like that idea. Hopefully, we'll see that expand in the future. Now, it'd be quite interesting to see with, there's the worker proposal for the additional like Android wallets to see a greater Android and even Apple ecosystem for BitShares evolve. And, in the future, wherever the BitFest event is held, perhaps we will be able to pay with stable coins and stuff in person for goods. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, Ken Code, slow and steady wins the race, eh?
So what do you guys think real quick, just a question about the statement. There's somebody who told me that they don't think the EOS will be able to be as fast as BitShares or the applications that BitShares runs. What do you guys think? Do you agree with that?
Perhaps. I mean, and they have functionality that they have to support, which we don't, computation on chain, potentially, all that functionality, we don't have to worry about that. So perhaps we can, further make our platform more efficient in ways that they simply could not,
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because as I thought about it, I thought, it is a potentially a very good point, because general purpose platform is going to have less efficiency on certain things that, and certain tasks might be heavy on requiring certain things. So maybe they're going to be like different different superpower almost that BitShares has, because it focuses just on what it does best, which is exchanging tokens back and forth and enabling people to trade them and send them fast, to other wallets anywhere on the planet. That's a very specific but powerful market, right? So it's just something that I kind of have been thinking about as people have brought it up to me in the past, and it reminds me occasionally, because there are multiple people always who bring these things up, and after you hear it a while, it kind of reminds you, and I'm thinking, man, I can remember this now, and it's really a powerful statement that I think, as BitShares becomes more and more widely known, and as things like EOS and all these things are open sourced, what cool things are going to come from this? All of them are going to be able to trade on BitShares. It's going to be, potentially faster in some ways than these other chains. And it's still the longest chain on the planet. And I just check off this list in my head and I think, man, why wouldn't you want to be in the BitShares ecosystem?
Yeah, BitShares is battle hardened by this point. We've been out for so long, despite people not knowing us. I think there's a lot of efforts in many different areas to improve BitShares. I mean, Peter Conrad had a talk at BitFest of the possible avenues for further improving internal core performance of BitShares. So it's excellent to see that even with the current, extreme performance we're able to squeeze out of BitShares, that there's still areas where we can further improve, and that's very exciting for the future. And it's not just performance, it's quite interesting developments. There was a lot of talk about how can we do on-chain scripts at BitFest. Multiple parties had multiple different implementation ideas, plugins, or Ethereum based virtual machines, or Lua based. So it's really cool to see all these different directions that BitShares can take in the future. Really optimistic about it.
This is the type of stuff that you love to be able to talk about, right? Because we knew that there's going to be more and more use cases. There's going to be, let's face it, there's more money trickling into the ecosystem in terms of people who understand the technology and actually wanting to come into the ecosystem. Most of them are going to want to trade on BitShares. I know that we've gotten a couple of people from, we've got the eDNA project. They've got their token. Warbly has their token on here. Smoke has a token. WhaleShares has a token. And I know that PalmPay has a token. There's going to be so many. BitSpark has a token. Man, yeah, it's they're actually starting to trade on a decentralized exchange. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, they've got their Spark decks now. I'm really excited with the direction that they're taking as well. Spark, they've got their remittance projects, their Zephyr token, their own, web wallet, and potentially mobile wallets in the future. It's going to be really cool where they go. And then, there was even at BitFest another BitShares web wallet. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. they announced themselves. So that was just out of the blue, like, oh, great. More people are taking BitShares seriously and building businesses on top of it, Actually, it's I think it's eubx.io. So I think it's quite they were talking about KYC/AML being a requirement for trading on their web wallet. But it's interesting, that's another route that people can take if they were so inclined. It's a wee segue into Jim888 saying, asking, do you think there's a good future potential to take some Shapeshift's market away from them as they go full KYC? For those that don't know, the Shapeshift, you can exchange tokens really easily between one another, but now, they're being clamped down on, and eventually you have to register and provide full AML KYC stuff. So people will potentially shift away. I think that's a great opportunity for BitShares. Several gateways don't require you to do AML KYC for non-fiat, tokens. If you're doing fiat deposit withdrawals from a bank, then yeah, you got to do that. Otherwise, it can totally replace that. And look at blocktrades.us, case in point.
Yeah, I think there's also some cool technology that's coming out. One of the cool things that I liked about eDNA was that they had something where you can control your own DNA, right? You can control the data there. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well then what else are we going to use this for? And this guy used to work for Oracle for like 20 or 25 years or something like that. And now he's into DNA technology, like splicing DNA and actually working with DNA. But of course, he has been discussing the importance of us controlling our own DNA, right? That's the most important thing. So much information that is extremely valuable for people who want to harm us or people who want to take advantage of us. And we know those people exist because we live in the crypto world, right? So my point is this technology can be used for other things like AML KYC and stuff like that, where you hold your own AML KYC information and things like that. So I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen, because we now have things like that we're going to be able to potentially implement on BitShares in certain use cases, right? And that'll make it so there's more businesses that can actually connect up legally in their own jurisdictions. And of course, there will be advocation bodies and stuff that actually say, we're going to advocate for no laws on cryptocurrencies, or something to this effect. I'll shut up.
No, I think what was most interesting about BitFest was it opened my eyes up to how you could be using BitShares for one thing, and someone will come along and conceive a business idea or a use case that you would never have thought of with BitShares. It's oh, I didn't realize you could use that functionality that way, and that actually makes sense. And you could, that's a valid business case. Go for it, man. That's great.
Yeah, and we are now at the point in time when everybody needs to realize our data is the most important thing, and BitShares and things like this can really enable us to keep and control our own data, right, and control our own information. That's why certain projects are very important on BitShares, like the Stealth project, right? There's things that need to be included, I think, in these technologies, like the holding your own KYC AML information. All those things, we need to control it. You need to control your own, right?
Yeah. On the topic of that, if you're submitting in your data, oh, I got scan my passport photo and hand it in. I remember doing that for MT Gox, and then them getting hacked, and then there's reports of oh, all of that data is now in the hands of criminals. It's great. My current active driver's license and passport are being handed around somewhere. That's not good.
Well, yeah, but you're going to have these different use cases that come out, and what use cases are going to come out because of that too, right? So yeah. You can go so deep, and I'm sure you sat around a table at BitFest with people who went, you just sit and talk about this stuff all day long, right?
Yeah.
Which is, it's heaven to a nerd.
Totally. And it's great that you can talk about some like these topics in person and the person's eyes don't glaze over. It's, where that's often the case where non-tech savvy people are like, oh, he's going on about crypto now. But whereas at the BitFest event, you can talk about the most in-depth tech savvy stuff. And people are like, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, they're like foaming at the mouth as you're talking about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good. Like I've gone to a couple conferences, but every one I've gone to, it's like you're there talking to people, and it seems like it goes so fast. You're just there, and it's like, well, I've been here for 12 hours.
No, the event did go by really quickly. I think had I gone and done like the ticketed events, the tour and like the walking dinner, perhaps it would have felt much longer drawn out. But it was good to, take a step back, come back, after dinner and stuff like that and talk about these kind of things over beer. It was really cool. I got to speak to a lot of people that I'd only known like their avatar image, it's like not recognizing them in person. Here's my avatar. It's like, you're that guy. Oh my God. It's really cool.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, in guilds and stuff like that, you'll have conferences that are very similar, like in gaming industry, right? It's so similar to the gaming industry and how they operate in cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah, it's a very positive community. I mean, there was not any. If you look at some of the like Bitcoin conferences, there's people getting in arguments and in the speeches and stuff like that, or people shouting from the crowds. None of that. It was a really positive experience. Everyone was on point. It was great.
Yeah, man. It's important to go, I think, to the ones that are close to you if you don't have a whole lot of funding yourself, or if you're not wanting to spend a whole lot of money, or, go to things like this if you can't do any of that. But it's important, I think, to be able to connect with people in the industry, with people who are doing things in the space. Of course, we're in a good place right now, and I don't want to go too deep into it, but I felt like I had to personally not spend a whole lot of cash to go over and do these things, because we're going to be trying to get some other things done. Like, we've got the BitsharesTalk Forums. I'm going to be paying some people to do some things for that. We have a DEX that was going to be coming that I'm going to use some of my tokens in the Smoke network for. It's going to be able to be customized for BitShares and Whale shares, and we're going to be able to put things like that together. So it's like you have to balance it. But if you go to one that's close by and it doesn't cost you a whole lot, you don't have to go to a hotel. You can drive 2 hours to it. It's worth it to go to a conference at least once in crypto, I think.
Yeah, totally. There's so many times where I've like seen, oh, it's a really cool conference. Where is it? The other side of the world. Nah, off the table, But anywhere, like within driving or train distance or a short 2-hour flight max, that's great. I'm in.
I mean, you would be able to go to a conference and find out people who are like Ken Code sitting there talking about. I keep hearing that crypto is the mark of the beast too. Like, we have some deep conversations, right? Like, there's a lot of cool things that we talk about, interesting things. Some of it's like really scary, but other things are really powerful because we're able to create these new economies. And all of these suckers are trading on BitShares already. Scalable chains that trade on Blocktivity, that are shown on Blocktivity, trade on BitShares.
Exactly. Cool. Are there any other topics that anyone wants to raise informally, or should we head on over to the?
Well, I'll thank you for stepping up today and starting
No problem.
in a community style, like you always do. I really am thankful for that. I think think it's great that our community does that. And I want to see that more. I just don't want to ever like put it on all of you guys or any given one of you. But if you guys would like to do these things, I will attend just like I have today gladly. But I also say that Anxious Stoner is here, and he is wanting to talk about something if we have a few minutes, just to announce something that, and I think that it's important that we let him speak if we have an extra minute for just pretty much anything. That's okay.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we've got like 20 minutes on the scheduled clock. Okay, go for it, mate.
Cool. I want to see if Anxious, can you hear me?
Hey,
man. So I wanted to announce this with you. I wanted you to be able to say hi to everybody. Introduce yourself if anybody hasn't been made aware of who you are. And I'll provide a couple links while we discuss this. But if you can please just tell everybody why you're here today, what you're doing, and kind of just a real quick intro to it, and then why it's important that and how you guys kind of connected with BitShares from the very beginning.
all right, cool. So I'm the Anxious Stoner, or also known as Jonathan Hunter. I'm the CEO of Smoke Network. So we came about with the idea and wrote a white paper last year in August, and then decided to use the BitShares DEX to hold our ICO instead of Ethereum or any other platform, because at the time we found BitShares would be both the most affordable for our users in terms of not costing gas fees for every transaction, and we wanted users that weren't going to spend a huge amount of money to enter into the ecosystem. So we held the first pre-sale on the DEX back in August of last year, and we sold 13.5 million tokens roughly out of the 42 million supply that we have today. Last week our mainnet was launched. So as I speak, we're on block number 168,000. We have over 1,000 users that have signed up for a Smoke account on the blockchain, and 33 witnesses producing blocks, and over 250 articles in the last 24 hours, and thousands of comments. We support the DEX a lot, so Rudex is busy building a gateway at the moment. So the process at the moment for the pre-sale Smoke that we had, it's a Smoke UIA, and those coins can now be claimed into coins on chain. The process is similar to the WhaleShares one, except you send the Smoke UIA to the Smoke Network account, which then gets burnt on the BitShares chain side and issued on the Smoke chain side. So that's happening at the moment. And then as soon as the gateway has been built up by Rudex, users will then be able to withdraw from the Smoke chain and get themselves Rudex.smoke, or whatever, however they prefix their BitShares assets.
Cool. That's great, man. I'm really, positive about the future of Smoke Network. It's a really cool platform, and I really appreciate you developing it. Cheers.
Thanks. So our biggest holder in the pre-sale bought 4.2 million Smoke, and they've already claimed and powered up their coins. So we already have over 13 million coins powered up already. And then some of the large holders are thinking about creating a whale token on the BitShares platform, which will be used like a voting token, similar to how Fuzzy has used tokens like that for Steam before.
Yeah, and I wanted to make it. What I'm going to do with these ones is they're not going to be tradable. They're going to be things that I give out to people who want to help us. and I will whitelist them. I will have a whitelist that will be of the trusted people who I trust who can use these tokens. They'll be like basically fuzzy DKP on that network. I plan on doing that on WLS as well. And I want to leverage these to try to help people who prove to me through these hangouts, like all of you guys, are good people to probably add to a whitelist on using these tokens. And then you can trade them or pass them rather among one another if you want to. I would not trade them if I were you. But I will be disabling the trading on them, but it will still create transactions on the network as people will send them in and use them. I give them back out and so on and so forth. And you guys can distribute them as well. The reason I want to do this is I want to show people how we can connect all these things. All these other chains don't have to be, they don't have to be competing with BitShares. They can actually be helping BitShares. And I think that we can even take it a step further and start making it so that I need help from the high level techies here. But I think that it's possible to even have it where we can have decentralized block producers that are their own DAX. And imagine what happens to BitShares when all that stuff happens, right? So just a thought. Yes, Jared, same ecosystem. And sorry, CM, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's really cool that these whale tokens are being used on these new platforms, BitShares and Smoke. I think it's really interesting, and I was wondering, is that open source, or is that something that you have to kind of network with the person that's already got one of these whale tokens for them to help you set one up?
Well, that's a good thing to bring up. Obviously, it takes some effort to get these things all ready. We're still in the MVP stages, right? And there's a lot that goes into, who do we let have a whale token and all that stuff. But at some point in time, I definitely would like to have all this stuff open sourced. But, we will have our ways of going about doing it because we know in the crypto space, there's a lot of sharks. And we've been trying to build value, and I've been trying to get people together who build value. And I've run into people like Alex P. Morris, who's doing things with ShareBits, for instance, right? We don't want somebody to get it and say, hey, I created this. And then be like, what? We want to make sure everybody knows who created it and where it came from. We also want to be able to take the time to test it and find the little schemey types of things that happen in a small place. So we kind of can say, like for instance, the iteration for me from Beyond Bits is, yeah, everybody who has a Beyond Bit can use it. They might get downvoted. But on Smoke, you have to be on my whitelist to do it, right? I've learned that lesson. So these are the types of things that we're doing, and I think, yes, we will have it all open sourced at some point. But for now, we're going to keep it small. We're now creating the Whale Tank, the Whale Council, which is kind of like a whitelist of tokens that we kind of say, hey, we know you. We know you're not a scammer like CM. I know you're not a scammer. You'll probably be able to have a whitelisted token and join up as a whale in the Whale Tank and distribute tokens to things that help on whale shares and that help with BitShares. But we'll open source it later, after we've established like some semblance of, hey, we know where we are, we know the strengths and weaknesses, and we know we have a team of people who are trustworthy and using it the right way at the very least. And then we can open it up and let the sharks eat it. And the good people and the little fishies eat it too.
No, I think that's fair. It's fair enough. We don't want, a flood of new whale tokens which are semi-functional. That might blow back on us a wee bit. So, yeah, keep up the great work, man.
Well, it's not just me. It's Alex P. Morris. It's people like Anxious. It's people like you. People like Ken Code. People like, well, geez, there's so many of them, right? Ox is here, Anxious. power picks, just the people on this list. There's Alex from like Clockwork. There's so many people who are bringing value to the space, which just enables me to bring further value to the space. And that's the kind of circular effect that it creates more and more value, right? And as we lift all boats, then all boats can lift more people. So it's kind of cool. But that's where we're going, and we started out at, there were times when it was 4 million market cap, baby. You remember that too, don't you, CM? You were there for that.
Oh, sorry, what was that for?
You were there for whenever it was 4 million market cap.
Yeah, crazy days.
Before all the boats were lifted.
Totally.
Well, with that said, do you have anything that you'd like to end it on, CM? Because it sounds like to me like everybody is pretty much quiet, little fly on the wall in here.
Yeah, could do. I mean, I'm really positive about the future outlook of Whaleshares, Smoke, and all these graphene-based systems. Keep up the great work, everyone that's working on their own wee projects. Don't give up. It was great to meet everyone at BitFest. Sorry if I didn't give you a shout out when we were talking about the BitFest event. It was really good. Looking forward to the next one next year. And cheers for keeping these hangouts going, Fuzzy.
Well, you started it today. So, I've always been saying, guys, I want to see the community do more of it too. And I'll be here. I don't mind being here. I love being here. I like seeing other people step up to the plate and do it too. So, CM, thank you for stepping up to the plate today. Like,
all good.
Like for real, it was very nice to see. Like, I came in and I just heard you talking, and it was like, okay, he's going live, and that's nice to see that the community can, it shows people in this very show or hangout or whatever the heck you call it. It shows people how powerful just a little group of people who cares about something is. The show will go on, right?
Totally.
Shut up, Nutella. I can be your mama. Yeah, thank you, Steam Dan. I'd prefer to be a grandpa. Smokes a pipe. Okay. CM, thank you very much. And everybody, thank you for joining today. I think it's probably a good time for us to end it. And we will see you next week. But of course, if you are here live, you're going to be here for the after party, where we're going to be talking about some cool stuff. And thank you for everybody who joined live today. Thank you for you people who are listening after. You are the ones who make this possible. So share it. Let other people know about this. We're not here to make money and sell stuff to you. We're here because we really care about building stuff. We want to try our best to leverage these tokenization systems to build things and help other people build things. So if we can do that, show people a template, give them a model, and then they go ahead and run with it, then that helps the entire ecosystem. And I will actually go as far as to say, I think we have influenced a couple big ecosystems already with our templates. So with that said, talk to you guys later. See you during the after party.